Hello, welcome to our group project about the Nepal earthquake in 2015. We're going to be talking about the plate boundary and what happened. So it was a convergent plate boundary between India and the Eurasia plate. This is the boundary that contributes to the rising of the Himalayas, which is about 2 inches per year. The overriding plate is the Eurasia plate, so the India plate sinks into the subduction zone. This earthquake, the epicenter was located 50 miles northeast of Nepal's capital, Kathmandu, and about 21 miles southeast from Lamjung. It was a very shallow earthquake, so it was really powerful and impactful for areas surrounding it. It reached about 7 miles into the earth crust, which was extremely destructive. It had a magnitude of 7.8 to 7.9 on the Richter scale, and it lasted almost a minute, about 50 seconds, which is a very long time for an earthquake. It was felt up to 700 miles away in Pakistan.
The earthquake had a devastating toll on Nepal's people and communities. It wasn't just a geological event, it was a humanitarian crisis. Nearly 8 million people were affected, which is about a third of Nepal's population, and tragically, close to 9,000 people lost their lives and more than 22,000 were injured. About 2.8 million people were displaced from their homes, and many had to live in temporary shelters and tents for months. On top of that, around 750,000 houses were either damaged or completely destroyed. And not just homes, Nepal also lost important piece of its cultural heritage, like the Kathmandu Darbar Square, which was built in the 13th century, and it took a really long time to build it. It finished building in the 18th century, and the historic Dakarai Tower, which was also built in the 18th century. This disaster didn't just damage infrastructures, it disrupted lives, livelihoods, and communities, creating long-term challenges for recovery and stability in the region. So it's the before and after pictures of Kathmandu Darbar Square and the Dakarai Tower. The top two are the Darbar Square before and after, and the Dakarai Tower are the bottom ones. And in the middle, you can see how the Darbar Square looked as all together before the earthquake.
Nepal has always been highly vulnerable to geohazards like landslides and accelerated soil erosion. The additional monsoon season resulted in additional hardships for people trying to provide aid. There was a degradation of watersheds and water sources, forest fragmentation, loss of habitats, and the polluting of streams and rivers. The lack of timber available led to an increase in bamboo and reed farming, which had speculated impacts on pollutants being released into the water. According to the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Environment of Nepal, a total of 2,782 landslides covering 38.2 kilometers squared area were recorded in 14 affected districts, generating an estimated 19,118,538 meters cubed of sediment, which will have drastically increased sediment loads in downstream water courses.
Hi, so this is Priyansu again, and one of our fun fact is that I'm from Nepal, and I was actually there in the earthquake myself in 2015 before moving to the United States a couple of months after. So it was a sunny Saturday morning, a really nice day, almost around 12. I was just watching a movie with my cousin and his laptop when all of a sudden my dad ran out from the other room telling us to go outside. And as soon as I stepped outside, I was really scared because everything was shaking and I thought the world was ending. Because I had never experienced an earthquake that big before, and I was almost like 120 miles away from the epicenter, but it was still very scary. But everybody was thanking the God because it was a Saturday morning and most people were home with their families instead of being at school and offices. And although after a few aftershocks occurred a month later when schools had started again, and I was at school, my brother was at school, it was during lunchtime, and it was really scary, and my mom almost passed out at home while we were at school. And a lesson learned is that we realized the importance of community involvement and preparedness in times of natural disasters like this one.